let's talk a little bit about Trump and the trial. This trial is more than just a kangaroo court. There's nothing to this trial. How do you think it's going?
Well, I think the only thing that really matters, of course, is the court of public opinion, because it's such a sham trial. I don't think that it's going to hold up on appeal. The basic argument here is that he falsified documents in order to commit a crime, but they can't even identify which crime he allegedly committed. So
Correct.
It's very hard to imagine anything like that can hold up on appeal. Now, look, it is highlighting, I think, how corrupt the justice system has gotten in certain parts of our country, right? So you have the number 3 person at Biden's DOJ who jumps ship and goes and joins a local prosecutor office to participate in this. By the way, he's also, it turns out, a DNC paid consultant. Wow. Then you have, of course, a Soros-funded prosecutor who brings the case. It's being presided over by a literal campaign donor to Biden-Harris, who is preventing Donald Trump from even speaking on the merits of the case in the court of public opinion. So I think it's really helping Trump politically, which, again, I think is all that matters, because most people who have any sense of fairness recognize that this is a sham trial. And so long as it's helping Trump get elected, I think that's the thing that matters most.
I will tell you that I think the line of maybe the year, we're not finished yet, but I think the line maybe of the year is Donald Trump when he came out, I think it was yesterday, and said, the Constitution is well worth me going to jail for. It's worth more than me trying to stay out of jail. So put me in jail. And I thought, wow, that is a strong stance.
As a way of driving home the stakes, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
This guy is literally trying to prevent him from speaking. Right, the Democrats have made this a major political issue. The Democrats are fundraising off of it. Biden-Harris campaign sending around, fundraising emails. Oh, isn't it funny that Donald Trump's in court today? Send us money. And yet the judge is preventing Trump from participating in what is right now the most lively political debate of the country. So it really, I think, again, just drives home how much these guys have lost their minds. And, I've even seen polls here that Biden, people who plan to vote for Joe Biden recognize this is fundamentally a sham trial. Now, here's the crazy thing about this, Glenn, is I do a lot of hostile media. It's one of the things I like to do, is sort of taking our case to the other side. And I've sat in green rooms with people who months ago were angry at Alvin Bragg for bringing this case because it was such a weak case.
Right.
But now that it's the only case that's actually gone to trial because the rest of them have fallen apart, you see the media treating this as legitimate. And I don't think anybody believes them, right? There's just no credibility here, and everything that further erodes their credibility is, in my view, a good thing.
So let me ask you a couple of other questions. I know we have limited time. Let me first stop with the campus protest funding and Biden holding back aid bullets to Israel. Isn't this exactly what Donald Trump was impeached for? He held back congressionally approved javelins from Ukraine, and now Biden is holding back ammunition from Israel. What's the difference?
There isn't any difference, of course. The only real difference is I think that Donald Trump actually was engaged in some diplomacy and was negotiating with the Ukrainians and also other folks in the region about how much aid they should be providing. Of course, it shouldn't just be America, whether you support Ukraine or not. What's different about this is I think you're taking one of the few truly bipartisan issues in this country that we should be supporting our allies, Israel, and you're allowing it to be dictated by the far left. Now, I have a little bit of a different take on this, Glenn, because I think what Biden is doing is really killing two political birds with one stone here. One, as I've been warning for months, we don't have enough ammunition to send to Ukraine and Israel simultaneously. We have to pick one. Well, the Biden administration, I think, has picked the corrupt Ukrainian regime over our long-term ally, the Israelis. I think it's disgraceful. But simultaneously, he's going to his left flank and saying, the reason I'm doing this is because, Bibi is bad and because we don't like the way that Bibi is prosecuting the war. So he gets to tell his left flank what they want to hear while covering for the fundamental failure of his foreign policy. It's one of the reasons, Glenn, it was such a bad idea for Republicans to give Biden this security supplemental. it's such a big bill that it sort of allows Biden to hide his priorities and to sort of have his cake and eat it too.
The other thing that I want to talk to you about is the health care that is now going to illegal migrants. How does this president get away with so much executive power? Nobody gave him the authorization to do this. Nobody gave him the authorization to spend all of this money. Nobody gave him the authorization to relieve or to forgive, quote, all those loans and tie them to the back of the taxpayer. This is a very important concept in our Constitution. It's why congressmen have to be reelected every 2 years, because we want them to answer for the money they just spent or allowed to be spent.
Well, you're right, Glenn. And look, we know that at this point, Biden is a tyrannical president who will violate the law, and it is a violation of the law. But I don't want to let us off the hook here, because we should know at this point that when we appropriate Joe Biden a big chunk of money, he is sometimes going to violate the law in the way that he actually distributes it. And this means that Congress actually has to take a little bit more assertive of a role, has to be willing to cut off certain appropriations, not write Biden these blank checks. This is really important, Glenn. Congress increasingly, again, with this massive security supplemental, when you write Joe Biden a check, you can't go to the American people and say, well, he's doing this illegally. Well, that's true, but he's going to do it illegally, so you have to be a little bit more careful about how we give this guy authority in the first place. And I have to say here, Glenn, this giving health care to illegal aliens it should offend every single American. We have a social safety net in this country. Medicaid exists for impoverished people to help pay their medical bills. If you allow folks who should not be in this country to begin with, who are here illegally, to literally take from the mouths of American poor children so that we can fund their health care, then whose side are you really on? Mm-hmm. And I think it's becoming increasingly clear that Biden doesn't like the people who currently make up the citizenry of this country, and he's trying to change the way the country operates, the way that we distribute resources, the way that we vote. And that's what his illegal immigration push is all about.
Well, I just cannot believe that, those at the very bottom of the scale, the ones that the Democrats have said they care about the most forever, the black families that are trapped in Chicago and are barely making ends meet, how are they to view the government when they're not getting, they're not being put up in a hotel someplace, they're not getting all of these perks, and yet we're doing it for people who just came here. If I were on the receiving end or on the need end of this, and I was a citizen, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? You never did this for me. You never did this for, my family as we were struggling.
Absolutely. They just came here, and a lot of them came here illegally, Glenn. We have veterans who can't afford health care, who are sleeping on park benches. At the same time, we're handing out free health care to people who violated the law to come to this country in the first place. It's completely disgraceful. And I think a lot of people should be looking around and saying, who does Joe Biden actually stand for, right? The Democrats say that they care about the little guy. Let me just tell you just a brief story, Glenn. I have a dear friend of mine who's getting up there in years, who is now eligible for Social Security. He basically found out that there were a number of illegal aliens who had used his Social Security number to get a whole host of benefits, including Social Security benefits. When he went to the government and said, hey, I'd like to know who's using these things so I can report to the police, they basically told him, no, we don't reveal people's personal information, even illegal aliens who are committing Social Security fraud. This is the kind of country that Joe Biden has created, where the very things that we do as a country to help the least fortunate are being given away to illegal aliens instead of American citizens. I cannot stand it.
JD, thank you so much. Senator JD Vance from Ohio. Always good to have you on. Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn. See ya.
God bless you. Bet.